Do you remember that?
Go ahead.
I'm going to try to bring you back. So let me know when you're ready. Yes, sir.
You gonna ask me questions, right?
I'm asking questions.
Won't you just ask me questions about the grind and the growth? Then just let me freestyle.
All right.
All right.
All right, sir. All right, we're so happy to be here today with Mayor Ed Gainey, who's the first black mayor in the city of Pittsburgh. Give him applause.
Pray for me.
And pray for him as he navigates the city.
Yeah.
First in 200 and some years to have a first black mayor in the city of Pittsburgh. But we want to talk about today the Stop the Violence movement that we started in 2013. Mayor Gainey doesn't know that he is the first public official in 2015 that actually came and supported our events. And from 2015 to today, he's been a staunch advocate of Stop the Violence movement. He also doesn't know that in 2015, or he might not remember, he gave us our first check for $100.
Won a lot.
I should have framed it. I had to cash it. And I needed that money.
I had that money.
So since that time period, he's been involved in every Juneteenth celebration, every Black Tie celebration, every parade that we done had, every social event that we done had, everything that we have done and grown from 2015 with fifth involvement to today. He has been a staunch supporter of that. We appreciate you so much. Can you just give us a recap of some of the things that you remember?
2013. No, the reason why it was important to me was that we needed an event that really diversified this city, and one was about African American history. And not only just about the parade or Stop the Violence, but about also just knowledge of who we are. So, I mean, when you brought in all the different acts talking about, going back in time, who we were from African Americans coming over on the slave boat to the first settlement of African Americans in this city, which I didn't know anything about. It continued to just educate us about who we were and the importance of Pittsburgh to black people and the movements that we made that had never been done. So it was more than just Stop the Violence, because I believe that the more you're educated, the more violence you don't have. And so understanding where we come from, you were doing, and you were doing on your own dime. And when I always tell people, when people put in their own equity, they're for real. So every year I watch this grow, every single year. And the one thing I can say every single year is that it got bigger, it got more educational, it's more alertive, people learn more, people have a good time. Stop the Violence means there's never been one incident at a B. Marshall event that they could ever say was violent. The people, the superstars that you've brought in here, you've made this one of the biggest events in the city, in the history of the city. And maybe the biggest event that I know of that's African American. That in itself is phenomenal. It had never been done. That's a first.
Yeah, so we're proud of that. Some of the things that you envision for the city and growing the city by using these festivals, how we might be able to use these events to actually build up our tourism, to help the small businesses.
Let's talk about tourism.
Okay.
They did an impact study. I don't want to mess the number up. What was the number?
So we did $4.4 million through tourism.
4.4 million?
And through vendor spending.
So let's just talk about tourism, because coming out of the pandemic, the number one economy is tourism. And people want to go where they can have a good time and they can feel themselves involved in this city. So if I go to a city, I want to see that my culture is represented. There's never been an African American event that net $4.4 million
in the city of Pittsburgh.
In the city of Pittsburgh.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, that's called phenomenal growth. Because the reality is, no one would ever thought that Juneteenth would net $4.4 million. No one.
Yeah,
no one.
Even us.
No one. Yeah,
so,
no one.
So when we say 4.1 million, we want to make sure we know it's the Juneteenth, the Black Music Festival, and the Soul Food Festival. So those combined events were spread out through June and July. In September, we were able to accomplish.
But let's just talk about Juneteenth.
Right.
How much did the impact study show?
Visit Pittsburgh study said $1.6 million, and our study showed it was $850,000.
So let's do the 1.6, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Juneteenth just came to no longer than, 3 years ago we was up there?
Oh, so in 2019.
2019.
We got to get back to that. In 2019, we made the statement.
Right, it made the statement. and it's bringing in 1.6 and growing.
Right.
You see, that's what I mean. When money invested, what it can happen. So when 1.6 invested in this region gave you the ability to educate not just African Americans, but the city of Pittsburgh in regards to the history of the journey of African Americans in the city, which is critical, because the more knowledge, the more love, the more tolerance, the more respect. So let's just look at it from 1.6, and the rate of return on that was more educational for people of the city. 1.6 in regards to vendor participation. Now, this is what I heard. I don't know if it's true, that the vendors run out of food.
Vendors run out of food, man. We need more people to be prepared
Right.
to be able to service the community and
Right.
not run out of food.
Right. So wait a minute. 1.6 brought that many people down there that the vendors know just how many people's down there. But every year it supersedes the number that's anticipated. So they even run out of food because more and more people are coming.
Yes.
Is it true that they were coming from from Cleveland, from upstate near Erie, from down towards West Virginia? Is it true that the footprint has gotten bigger?
So this year, our biggest visitors came from California.
Wow.
They came from California,
Wow.
St. Louis, Missouri, North Carolina, New
Right.
York. So we're expanding. We're all out.
Right.
Our reach is getting bigger and bigger.
1.6 expanded the reach. Let's just go one more time on 1.6. 1.6 brought in what type of concerts?
So we brought in national entertainment this year. Who do we have this year? I can't remember.
Rakim.
Yeah, I'm glad you remember. We
Right,
had Rakim.
right.
We had the Ohio Players. We
Ohio
had
Players.
Our favorite. We had who else? Arrested Development.
That's the development.
We had see, I just know what we got this year coming up.
Right now, I know, but I'm just saying. The investment of 1.6 in this region, what it did to help grow this city.
Right.
You see what I mean? That's as we do this interview, 1.6 diversified this city.
Correct.
And no one can deny that.
Right.
And the impact study was done by,
Visit Pittsburgh.
right, so a legitimate
Yeah.
organization, independent
Of us. Yeah.
1.6.
Right.
When we talk about tourism and economic development, that's a tool. And if 1.6 was generated last year, what you projecting this year?
But we're going for $4 or $5 million this year.
On Juneteenth alone?
On Juneteenth alone. We want to try to bring our festival activities up to at least $15 million. We want to try to make the Juneteenth, the Black Music Festival, Soul Food Festival, raise to the level that we can generate about $15 million.
Wow.
And I know that we can do that because it's based on entertainment. So our festivals are free to the community, and that's why people come into the community to be a part of our events. And what we were able to do last year was contact people in Chicago who bring in buses to different states for other events. Ohio who bring in buses to states to different events. New York, all these other entities or cities that bring buses into cities and states for events. And ours is a free event. It's at Point State Park. It's open to the public. All they got to do is come in and buy a hotel room, and they're here and they get a free concert. They don't have to pay an astronomical amount for a ticket for anything like that. And actually this year, I'm happy to announce, we have KRS-One on our hip hop thing, Arrested Development. We have Carl Thomas. We have the Ohio Players. We have Erica Campbell from Mary Mary. We have, who else is there? This number of high-class entertainment that's coming in this year for the Juneteenth celebration. We got about 12 national acts coming in for Juneteenth. And then the other thing that we're going to do is we don't want to forget our local entertainment. So we have about 20 local entertainers, bands that's going to perform in Market Square, and we call that Juneteenth in the Square. So we also give them opportunity to flourish and show their talents to the community. So Juneteenth is inside Market Square, on Liberty Avenue, and then Point State Park.
Yeah, see, so that's what I'm talking about. So that's why I wanted to talk about the growth of Juneteenth, because that's really the statute that we want to discuss. Like, you've taken it from maybe 100, 200 people,
maybe 60 people,
right, to thousands and thousands
so
of people now.
We estimate 30,000 people.
30,000 people from 60 to 30. That's who we are as a people. Right. You know what I mean? we always grow. And I always tell people the one thing about B. Marshall is that, I don't really believe in success as much as I believe in growth. Because you can pass the test and flunk the course. You know what I mean? But in growth, you automatically get success. You have incrementally grown every single year. And to you, that's a testament of your will and your desire. And that's why Juneteenth is important. To talk about our Independence Day. To talk about when we were free. And also to celebrate it in a way that every single year, just like our culture, it continues to get bigger. That's Juneteenth.
Yeah, that's the most important thing to us. And then the diversity of it, because now what we see now is we have a mixed crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, because we know Juneteenth is not a black holiday, it's an American holiday.
Of course,
it's
absolutely.
America's second Independence Day.
Absolutely.
So we invite everybody. When Civil War was going on, it was 600,000 white men that died for freedom of black people. So we want to make sure that it's diverse.
Is that what you're going to do this year?
Oh, most definitely.
Oh,
We'll make sure everybody comes in there and has a good time and support.
I mean, you going to reenact that?
Oh no, we don't reenact Civil War.
Okay.
But we're gonna have. Normally we have our reenactors coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they be a part of the parade. Yeah.
Right. I thought you said you're going to do the reenactment, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
gonna be heavy.
Frederick Douglass will be here.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So to the audience out there, what you just heard us talk about is why Juneteenth is important, why it's important to support B. Marshall, and why it's important that we always let people know that when we have events like this, they need to come downtown, not just to enjoy the events, but to spend money. They have to understand that our economic value is of importance, but the only way they can do that is if they see you present and spending money. I love the fact that every year they budget for more food, but the crowd gets so much bigger that they still run out of food. That's amazing. That's amazing.
All right, that's good. That's